morning, everybody. So in today's video we are going to make some chicken vegetable soup, and we're going to can it, and we're going to can it in my new pressure canner I got for my birthday. So to start, I'm just going to fill this pot with some water, and we're going to make some chicken stock. That's going to be the base of the soup. The chicken stock is going to simmer for at least 4 hours, and then we'll can it into the jars. So I'm just filling the pot so I can add all of the scraps, the chicken scraps and the vegetable scraps I have into the pot. Okay, so I filled the pot about 3/4. Now we're going to add some of the items to make the stock. So I have some onions and onion peels here. I'm just going to add some of those. Saving your scraps when you're cooking makes awesome broth. And it saves you money. I'm just going to get some of the peppers and stuff that I got down here. It doesn't matter if they have seeds and stuff, because all of this is going to be drained once we're done. There's some carrot peels in here as well. Literally any kind of vegetable you can put in this, including the peels. The peels are perfectly fine. Okay, so now we're going to get some chicken. I have a whole bunch of bones here from rotisserie chickens and chickens that I leftover stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to take one of these carcasses and I'm going to put it right into the water here. I have a couple in here, but I only want to use one because I do plan to make chicken stock soon. I'm just going to take a piece off of this other one here. There we go. Okay, that should be good. I'm going to put this back in the freezer. So we're going to let this simmer for about 4 hours. I'm going to add some more water here. I'm going to add it all the way up to the top. And in about 4 hours, we can use this chicken stock towards the base of the soup. But until then, we're going to prepare the vegetables for the soup. As this boils down, you want to keep filling it with water so you get a really nice concentrated stock. Okay, so now we're just going to let that sit and simmer. Now we're going to prepare the vegetables and the chicken. I brought out my quart-sized jars. I'm hoping to get about 5 of them. So we're just going to make the base basically for chicken noodle soup. I want to make some ahead of time so that we have some homemade in case we don't have time to make dinner or one of us is sick. I'm not going to put the noodles in this. You cannot can noodles, they will go mushy. So I'm canning the base with the vegetables and the chicken in it, and then when I pour it out to make it, I'll add the noodles later. So for now, let's cut up some onions and some carrots. And I'm going to put the onions and the carrots directly into the jars. I do not want to pre-cook them. I don't want them to go mushy. When you pressure can, it's really high pressure, and it can make them go mushy if you pre-cook it. The chicken we are going to pre-cook. I'll probably just boil it in some stock, and then we'll add it to the jars after it's cooked a little bit. So I'm just going to peel some carrots. It's going to be a very basic soup, mostly just seasonings, stock, onions, carrots, and chicken. And then if I want to add anything to it later, after it's already done and we're going to use it, we can do it then. All of these pieces and these scraps from the carrots we're going to add directly to the stock that we're cooking. Add more flavor to it, more nutrients. I forgot to cut that one off. Okay, let's add all this into the stock. I'll do this with the rest of the onion peels as well. It'll just add more flavor to it. Make sure you push it all down so it gets in there. Not sure if I'll need more carrots or not, but for now that's how many we'll do. Let's do the onion. See, all of this is usable in your stock for the soup base, or even if you're just making chicken stock. Try to use everything. My cat. Okay, I'm just going to add these into the stock right away so they can boil down with the stock. Okay, now let's chop these up. I'm just going to dice them like I normally would in soup. If you wanted to add other vegetables to this, you can. My celery isn't ready yet, and I don't have any in the fridge, so I'm just going to do carrots and onions and chicken. And after you've, when you're going to use the chicken soup, you could also add vegetables then too. Ooh, these onions are strong. Making my eyes water. Okay, so let's put some of these in the jars. Just a little bit in each one. I better get my funnel. Hold on one sec here. Ooh, my eyes are stinging. Very strong onions. Ooh. Okay, let's cut up the carrots. We're just going to do bite-sized pieces. You don't want them to be too thin, otherwise they will mush in the process of pressure canning. And because I'm only putting onions, carrots, and chicken into this, if you wanted, you could also afterwards use it in any other kind of soup as well. All you'd have to do is just dump it right in. So you could repurpose it. Add a little bit more carrots. So it could be a base to quite a few different kinds of soup, but my intention is chicken noodle eventually, or chicken vegetable and then add the noodles later. But I think I could totally use this in corn chowder. I could use it in many, many, many different kinds of applications. Okay, we're gonna have to do a couple more. I need another 2. Thought that would be enough, but no. A couple. Oh. Okay, so now let's cook the chicken. I think I'm just gonna saute it and give it a little brown flavor, little brown bits on the bottom, and then we'll pack some of that, cube it up and put it into the jars as well. So I just got my grill pan here. Put some cooking spray down. My chicken. I'm going to wait for that to heat up just a minute. I have boneless, skinless chicken thighs I'm going to use. I think the dark meat will help with the flavor a bit better of the soup. You can put raw chicken into the jars and pressure can it that way, but it does leave a little bit of residue from the chicken, so I prefer to cook it first. There we go. Now I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some pepper. Okay, so we're going to let those simmer for a minute, and then we'll cut them up once they're done cooking here. Needs a little bit more color than that. Yeah. I added some garlic powder on top as well. I like things to be seasoned really, really well. And the canning process tends to mute flavors, so it's better to add a little bit more seasoning than you normally would when you're canning. Okay, so we're going to let that grill a little bit and get some marks on it. Okay, I'm going to season the back half of them now that we flipped them. We're probably going to flip them again, but for now we'll season this part of it. Okay, I think this is good. It's got some nice color on it, and I'm just going to shut this off and let them cool a little bit so it's easier for me to cut them up and put them in the jars. The chicken is cooled now, so I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized chunks to put into the jars. Like that, we'll just Just put it right into the jar. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just going to pour a little bit of this juice in each one. Extra flavor, right? Okay. Now we just wait for the chicken stock to be done, and we can fill this up with the broth. This is my birthday present that I got. I haven't used it yet. It's really heavy. This is an electric digital pressure canner. My fiance clearly knows me very well. Let's see here. Looks like this inside. I do have a regular pressure canner as well, but this is something that's been on my wish list for quite a while. Makes so you don't have to monitor it the whole time. So I'm going to read the instructions for this while the stock is cooking, so we can use this to pressure can the quart jars. This will hold 5 quart jars or 7 pints. I think it holds up to 10 half pints. So I'm going to read the instructions, and then we're going to use this together. Just give you a little closer look what it looks like. I'll show you the settings once I get it set up. Comes with a little tray that sits in the bottom for canning. Nice seal locking lid. Locking mechanism. This is the pressure gauge, I believe, and the vent regulator. Okay, so I think the stock is ready to be drained. Nice and concentrated. So I'm going to strain it into this bowl, straining all the stuff out of it. See, there's lots of junk in here that we're going to get rid of. Strain it all out. And then we're going to fill our jars with the stock that's remaining here. So I got my canning lids here and some of the rings, my wet cloth. So now we can start filling these. I just need to get one more tea towel for them to be put on. Okay, I'm just going to put another towel over here for us to put the jars on once they're filled. You don't want them sliding everywhere, so it's best to put them on a towel. Okay, so now we can fill it with all the broth right here. You see the deep color of the broth? That's from all the vegetables and the chicken. Okay, we need to leave about 1 to 1 1/4 inch headspace at the top of the jar. Nice deep rich color. We'll add seasonings and stuff like that afterwards when I open the jar to use it. I wanted to leave it like this so I can use it for many different applications. So right about there. I'm just going to get a chopstick. This works great for this. And you just want to go down the sides of the jar like this and make sure all the air bubbles are out. There we go. Then wipe the jar. Make sure all residue's off the top. I normally heat my lids, but when I'm dry packing food like this, I just use them cold. Because it's going to heat up in the pressure canner anyways. Only hand tight. Do not over tighten because the pressure canner will break the jar if it's too tight. It needs room to retract. Nice rich color, looks so good. If there's extra stock, which I assume there's going to be here, I'm just going to can it into regular stock. Use it in other stuff. In this digital pressure canner, these need to be processed for 75 minutes. If you have a regular pressure canner, they only need to be processed for 30. This goes through a phase of heating up the jar and preliminary stages before it actually cans it. That's why it's longer. Oh, I didn't do the, just about forgot. Make sure all the air is out. Just going to wipe it one more time here. Hand tight. You could do this with any kind of soup. It doesn't have to be chicken. You could even do it with just vegetables too. Vegetable soup. The only things you don't can well are fat. So anything with like a cream sauce or lard or tons of oil in it, not recommended to can. It'll actually curdle because of the high pressure from the pressure canner. Canning lid. I only decided to do 5 jars because that's what will fit in this new pressure canner here. I wanted to test it out and see how well it works. I've heard rave reviews, so I'm not too worried about the performance. I think it'll work great. Yeah, we're going to get some jars of chicken stock out of this too. And the last jar here. Okay. Okay, and I'm just going to set this aside and can this into regular chicken stock later. But for now, we're going to set up the canner and we're going to can these. So right now I'm just filling up some water. And there is, right here on the pressure canner, if you can see that line, I need to fill some water to that line. Oh, I need a bit more. Okay, so right to there. It has to be like this no matter what you're canning or how many jars you're canning, it says in the instructions. With all pressure canning or canning in general, you need to put some vinegar into the water. It helps with water residue on the jars. It's very hard to get off, so I prefer to use the vinegar. Okay, so when I plugged it in, it said pressure can, and then now we just need to choose the time. It needs to be 75 minutes, so we're going to do 75. Press start. It wants me to insert the jars, so we're going to put the jars in. So if you were cold packing, this will heat the jars for you. Like that. And then once it tells me here, I can put the lid on and start processing it. And I will show you once this whole process is done and we start taking them out. I just wanted to show you what the display looks like when it's on and canning. It's actually a really cool machine. So the canner is finally done. It took a little bit, but it's finally done. I've taken the lid off and let it cool just a little bit so that they don't immediately break as soon as I take them out. With pressure canning, you need to be very careful, very precise. We're going to take them out so they can seal. They look a little separated right now, which is fine. Once they cool, mix the jar up and they're fine. Looks really delicious. There we go. Look at the beautiful color on all of that. Looks really good. Now I'm just going to let them seal. Probably within the hour they'll seal. You can tell when it's sealed. You see this little bump right here? That'll sink right in. So this is where I'm going to end the video today. That was fun. I got to use my birthday present. It was an adventure. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.